The author of this piece, Megan Agnew, decided to instead write only what can be described as a hit piece against one of the most popular female content creators on social media. Why attack Hannah, you might ask? Because she milks cows, gives birth naturally at home, and breastfeeds her 8 children while competing in beauty pageants. She's the queen of the trad wives, which is clearly a blow to feminism, despite Hannah fully rejecting the term trad wife, never associating herself with it, and being a wildly successful entrepreneur, ballerina, beauty pageant queen, and mom of 8 kids to boot. The whole article opens up with a harrowing account of Hannah returning to compete in Mrs. World as Mrs. USA right after giving birth to her 8th child, which, after blowing up on social media, made her the declared leader of a new and controversial group of the internet, the trad wives. What is a trad wife? A wife, mother, and homemaker who promotes that existence online to millions of followers because there's no way this could possibly be real. It has to be an internet phenomenon, and importantly, is almost always bound to Christianity. The author of this piece decides to label Hannah Neeleman as the most well-known trad wife. That's modern journalism for you. Throughout the entire article, Megan, the author, tries to paint this as some sort of subservient, abusive, controlling relationship between Daniel, her husband, and Hannah, in which Daniel calls all the shots, answers all the questions, makes all the decisions, but then admits that that's not even true in her own article, realizing that the beginning of their marriage, they lived in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil when they had 3 kids under the age of 4, and Hannah was still dancing professionally, still living out her dream. But then they had a different dream in which both of them had to make sacrifices. Daniel gave up career ambitions, Hannah decided to give up dance, which was very difficult, and now their life looks very different, but that doesn't make it bad. But the angry feminist rant about Hannah's husband, Daniel, was just getting started. I look out at the vastness and I don't totally agree. Daniel wanted to live in the great western wilds, so they did. He wanted to farm, so they do. He likes date nights once a week, so they go, and they don't have a babysitter except on those evenings. He didn't want any nannies in the house, so there aren't any. And the only sanctuary of Hannah's own interests, a dance studio in a small barn, ended up becoming the kids' schoolroom. When giving a tour of their beautiful ranch, Daniel explains the irrigation ditch. Daniel explains the offices for the company. Daniel explains the milking stations. And it caused the author to feel edgy. How dare a rancher, and a man at that, describe his property to a journalist who's coming to your property for a profile piece on you. But it's not enough to just attack Daniel as Hannah's husband. She then has to go after their parenting style by describing the life of the kids as some historic, backwoods, anti-progressive lifestyle. There's no TV in the house, and they only watch Little House on the Prairie, not iPad YouTube videos. There's no phones allowed for the kids, but the kids happily say, we play Ring Around the Rosie and jump on the trampoline and play lacrosse, and we're really happy about it. How dare you not make your kids addicted to iPads before they can talk in full sentences, Hannah? She clearly doesn't know how to advocate for herself because she's had all of her children, with the exception of 2, in her bedroom instead of at the hospital with 0 pain relief or medication, except when she needed to because of a complicated birth with her daughter Martha, in which she got an epidural, and she called it an amazing experience. They blame this on Daniel being gone, having to work on emergency business stuff, and he clearly is withholding pain medication and an epidural from his wife, even though there's a million reasons that women don't get pain relief or epidurals while they are giving birth to their children. They want a natural birth. And obviously she's being held hostage by these horrible, backwoods thinking people because birth control is not a part of her marriage. Hannah called it a matter of prayer. I'm like, God, is it time for me to bring another one onto the earth? And I've never been told no. How dare a husband and wife in a loving, God-oriented marriage be open to children? How dare you? I can't imagine how unbelievably frustrated Hannah must be feeling this week with this article blowing up all over the internet and women everywhere commenting on her post saying, blink twice if you need help, or girl, you need to escape your abusive relationship, your horrifyingly backwards marriage. You have no idea what is going on in somebody's life, particularly from a propagandized, twisted, manipulative hit piece. You don't really get vacations. You don't really get time off. There is no such thing as a true sick day. There is always something that needs to be done. There is always something broken that needs to be fixed. There is always something new popping up that you have to deal with imminently because nobody else will deal with it. And that's without also raising 8 children, some of whom are still children, babies in diapers. So yeah, it was a bit naive of you to come do a profile piece on this woman and to lure her away from what her actual lifestyle that you wanted to profile was, to try to bait her into some sort of bait and switch question and answer about modern feminism. Talk about disingenuous journalism. There were so many things I wanted to ask, this author says, which were inappropriate to do so in front of her husband or young children. Honestly, if you have to ask yourself as a journalist if questions pertaining to an interview are appropriate to ask in the natural setting of someone's life, then you really should be asking yourself if what you are doing is even considered journalism. If you are going into someone's life with the intention of asking them inappropriate questions while writing a profile piece on their life, then you're not really interested in profiling their life. You're interested in dragging them under the bus. You have literally no idea what this woman's life is like, and spending a few hours on their ranch with the intention of writing a hit piece on this family does not entitle you to call yourself an expert into their lives. So no, you don't actually, Megan, understand exactly what this life is like. I especially want to shout out our 2 sponsors of today's stream who help to support all of our incredible content. First, our friends over at Public Square, changing culture from the inside out on the entrepreneurial front by allowing more than 100,000 small businesses across the United States to share their products, food that you eat, clothes that you wear, people to help you do your taxes, coffee shops, and more that you know will be pro-family, pro-freedom, and pro-faith. If you guys haven't already made the switch to Public Square away from stuff like Amazon and Target, you absolutely need to. You can check them out at publicsquare.com. And I especially want to thank our friends over at Hallow, America, and frankly, the world's largest Christian prayer app, featuring thousands upon thousands of prayers, guided meditations, podcast episodes, history lessons, mental health resources, and more. If anything's been abundantly clear in the last few days, prayer is bringing people back together, and it should never be our last line of defense in America or anywhere else around the world. It should always be our first line of offense against evil. Please, if you haven't already, consider downloading Hallow just to check it out and make prayer a more normal part of your daily routine. You can get a 3-month free trial for all of the content that Hallow has on their incredible platform. If you go right now to hallow.com, HALLOW.com/Isabel, ISABEL. And extra special thank you to the team over at Rough Greens. The more we are talking about nutrition lately, the more I'm realizing that processed food for human beings is just as scary as processed food for our doggies. Rough Greens calls the modern dog food industry dead food, and it's really not hard to understand why once you start looking into this yourself. So they have developed an additive, not a supplement, but something that you add on to your dog's existing diet to help make up for the nutritional deficits that exist in the kibble industry. It works just like a protein powder. You take a little scoop, you put it on top of your dog's existing food, and it is full of antioxidants, minerals, vitamins, everything to support your dog's health, to help them be the best they can possibly be. They are offering you guys a free Jumpstart trial pack to try at home with your doggies, and take it from my puppy Liberty. She loves it and we use it every single day. If you go to roughgreens.com, ruffgreens.com. I'm so glad, by the way, that there are companies that are trying to get to the actual truth of matters like this and in standing for women in general. Just one of which happens to be my amazing friends over at Garn-U. Garn-U is the only period product company on the market that insists only women can menstruate. Thank you for that, by the way, Garn-U, because we need a whole lot more of that. And their pads, their tampons, and their menstrual cup products are all 100% organic and completely non-toxic. I have noticed a huge change in my cycle since switching to Garnier products, and I cannot begin to recommend them enough to you, especially after we just found out that most leading tampon brands have arsenic and lead in them if you're buying them at Target or the grocery store. You can get a discount on your first order to Garnier if you click the link in the description of this video. And please, please, please embrace the same courage that they are in standing up for real womanhood in 2024 and beyond.